good evening, good morning, wherever you're at. This could be another live recording on. It's not even a live recording. It's a recording. I don't know why I'm adding the live there. This is another recording on, and it's not even a tutorial, really, is it? Because I'm not actually showing you what I do. I'm just showing you how I do it. I'm not showing you how I do it. I'm showing you what I do. So it's not really a tutorial. Nonetheless, hello. All right, let's get serious. I haven't got any idea what I'm going to do again today, but this is more so just like let's call it Adobe sessions, BKA Adobe sessions. That's what we're going to call it, I guess. So I'm just going to be messing around, see what we can make in under an hour. I don't really want this video to be as long as the last one. If I can make something in half an hour, that'll be dope. We'll see. All right. So first of all, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Or don't, I'm not gonna force it down your throat. But if you do like the content I make, yeah, give it a like in the very least. Subscribe if you want to see more of it. Share it amongst your people that would be interested. And if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Engagement is engagement, and definitely leave a comment and let me know what you would like to see in terms of improvements, in terms of anything you think that could help the channel, or just me as an artist, right? Anything, any sort of contribution you have will be appreciated. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna focus on a face today. Last one I was like, let me try and do something, and it never worked. Yeah. Also, let me lead by example this time. Make some layers as we always do. And let's actually name the layers this time. Nah, that's long. That's long. I'll do that in a bit though, for real. Right. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna freestyle it, and hopefully, something cool comes out of this. If not, then what can we do? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just lining things up. I really feel like I should be talking and saying something as I'm doing this, but it's not even necessary. But if I'm gonna keep it at this length and actually show the whole process, I should probably keep the people engaged with talking about something. So I guess I can share my thoughts regarding a few things. But I'm trying not to. I'm gonna try and keep this as art orientated as possible. If you must know, I am also quite a fan of written literature, philosophy. So you will see on this page also probably some readings on such content. Frederick Nietzsche is probably my favorite philosopher, to be honest, just because of I don't know why his work just really resonates with me. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, because what my goal is really, one of my goals is to combine my art with my philosophy. Whatever my philosophy is, I'm still obviously I'm still relatively young, I suppose, in some people's eyes. So to this day, I'm still, I haven't reached my final form, as I hope, if I can say it like that, you know. Yeah, still, I'm still finding myself as a person. You feel me? Even though at this point I could definitely say I feel like I'm on the right track and that, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but life's a growing process, and I don't know why I always end up. I think it's just because I don't do the thing straight, the body straight like that. But I always end up doing like one leg that's higher than the other, and then it's like I've got to make the figure I'm drawing kind of lean on one side. But I feel like that's just because I don't be doing stuff straight. But having things too straight is just a bit. It looks weird. You gotta have a bit of lean into one side. I mean, it depends what you're trying to do, right? I don't know what I'm trying to do. So I guess you can't help me. I've got, you know what I mean. If you know what you're doing, then you can actually sort of, you know what you're working with. But the way I am at right now, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just literally freestyling it. So I guess some things can't be helped. I don't know why I did that because I literally erased it. Yeah, but back to what I was saying about the philosophy and that. Federico Nietzsche is definitely a philosopher that I resonate with, and Carl Jung. His work is very Carl Jung's work is very profound, like very profound in a different way from Federico Nietzsche. Nietzsche's is for me Nietzsche is more like more like I just find them very agreeable, yeah. But with Carl Jung, I feel like his work was going into was a very profound an ancient, very ancient and profound understanding of the human psyche. So those are two that I could think of off the top of my head. Um, you know, I'm always learning. If you've got any sort of philosophy you think that works kind of inclined to that, definitely, you know, again leave like a comment, you know, definitely let me know. I'm always open to something ain't right here. So obviously this is just a line drawing, so everything hasn't got to be perfect. But the more it is perfect, the less work you have to do later, right? And I'm definitely getting into that point where it's like the less work is the better, right? And why do something when you know you have to fix it later, right? I know what it is. That leg's too straight. It needs to come back a little bit, like kind of yeah. See, why did it do that? Like I select the whole thing was selected, but when you try and move it, it doesn't want to take the whole thing with it. Very annoying. But we move. Or I guess maybe the hill hasn't got to be like that. No, I guess it doesn't have to be unless. But yeah, as I was saying, I do hope to like be able to get into literature within Barkham BKA Studios. So the BKA stands for Barkham Arts. That might probably means nothing to you because I kind of came up with it. But it is an amalgamation of words that you might be familiar with. I don't really want to get into that in this video because there will be a dedicated video for that, for getting into like the reason why I chose Barkham as the name and what it means and what I want what you know the whole sort of philosophy and the meaning behind it. I want to do that in a separate video, so I'm gonna try and not clog that down in this, but it definitely has something to do with art and philosophy, and you know I'm definitely those are two things that I profoundly that I deeply have a have a res I'm all waffling on that. It's something that I hold in high regard, you know, and it's something I felt definitely helped me in my into coming into who I am today, you know, as an adult. Like it definitely soothed the growth pains from adolescence, you know, and I feel like a lot of confusion and a lot of you know how it is being a teenager. You know, I definitely feel like those things definitely helped. You know, for sure. Even though as a teenager I wasn't practicing my art as much, but I was still very much interested in it. Like I was reading my manga and whatnot. So even though I wasn't necessarily practicing it at the time, I was still somewhat. I've always been interested in art, and it's always like had a place in my life. And I definitely feel like at times it's definitely helped, you know, help dealing with the world and what goes on, and just what it means to be human and that. Come on, man. I ain't got to say no. Have I really got to say any more than that? Like, we're human, bro. We both live the 20 same 24 hours. I'm pretty sure you come across a lot of stuff as well. You're just like, hey, this is mad. You know what I mean? We have something that we can kind of hold on to in the world, and um, makes it easier to live in this world. You know, one of the things that makes it easier to go through life is having things that you're passionate about, things that that inspire you, invigorate you. You know, if you don't, then I'll say you're doing an amazing job, because I don't know what it must be like to not be able to have any sort of passionate feelings or inclinations towards anything, but still to be able to go through life and not not feel a type of way. Like, most people, when they go through something, they retreat into themselves, and what they retreat into is, how they're able to do that is through the stuff that they find enjoyable. You know, um, obviously, I'm not advocating just completely, being doing away with the world, and that's not. I wouldn't say. I'm not a psychologist, so let me not even get into that. But balance is very important. I'm saying, yeah. So what we're going here is, I feel like the legs are always like the hardest thing for me to draw. So normally I um, I omit the legs. I leave. I no, I don't admit them legs. Either I will leave them out completely. Sometimes, I definitely did that more when I was a lot less confident with it. Same thing with hands. People say with the hands they just they just leave them out. You draw them behind the back and whatnot. And the funny thing is, for me, like, I've never actually, like, I'm not saying that like hands were always easy for me, but like, generally speaking, I never had too much trouble with them, like, to the point where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, definitely, I have to use the eraser a lot of times if I'm like working on with pencil. I would definitely never, um, I would definitely never just like pen a pen a pen use a hat pen use a pen to like get the hands out. Like, that's definitely something you would like leave to the pencil first and then line it out. But I'm pretty sure there's probably been a few occasions where I've done that. Like I said, pen wasn't drawing hands wasn't something I struggled with, really. It was difficult. Don't get me wrong, it was difficult, but like, it wasn't like a whole. I've never had to do, and this is probably something I probably shouldn't even say this, but I've never really had to do like a study session where I just draw hands for that study session, or just draw legs. But I probably should do that. I've never actually done a study session like that. I just draw what I want to draw, and most times it's just it's a human. In all my work, there's always a human in my work. You're always gonna find the human figure, the human anatomy in some formal way in my work. You know, and when I say in some formal way, I mean literally you're gonna find it. Let me, like, some people are really able to do the human figure in very abstract ways. Like through the environment, through like animals, which I think might be a bit easier because, man, the human figure definitely does seem to be a very does seem to be. You can see the some could say that it's an amalgamation of different animals put together, like a hybrid, right? Some people say humans are like, but it's like different parts of the human. You can see that different, like our fingers, for instance, our hands. Someone even mentioned like, why are our hands webbed? That was a good point I couldn't actually answer. Um, I couldn't answer that, but it was something that definitely had me thinking, like, why are our hands webbed? I don't know. Maybe someone could let me know. Again, this is what I do hope as well. This will be a place of just of sharing information, sharing knowledge. Because that's what I hold in high regard. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm not ever silly, and I don't ever entertain silly things. I definitely do. And when we say silly things, I just mean trivial sort of. We're human. I'm human, in it. Like, I have my moments of introspection, and I have my periods of stupidity, to say the least, in it. To put it bluntly, because I can be very silly at times. Maybe too much so. You know, maybe too much so, but that's all relative, I guess. So what we're going on here is we're getting the figures kind of coming about now, right? So hopefully once, but hold on, wait a minute. See, look, this is what I'm talking about. The same thing happened. Look, so why these are two different layers? I have no idea. Let's move all of that to one layer. Yeah, I don't know what is up, bro. There must be something I could change in like the settings or something because I just that one I literally don't know how that happened. You know, um, don't know how I managed to get that on two different layers. But you know, it is what it is. It's not nothing. No, that's not it. See, and it just makes things so complicated than it needs to be. Was it like that? I believe it was. Yeah, it was like that. Okay, cool. So, like I said, it's Adobe Illustrator, so it's cool. You can kind of go back and tweak things, and so it's nice. That's a cool thing. All right, so that's one layer. Hopefully, thank God. Let's actually name these layers, right? Because, like I said, that's something I don't normally do. But hopefully, through doing these excuse me, from doing these sort of live these Adobe sessions, I will learn to be more I'll learn to formulate everything a bit more, make it everything a bit more cohesive and like visible. So this could be outlines, doing the outlines. So let's work with three layers today. We could work with the outlines, foreground, and background. And when I say outlines, I just mean the human figure. Probably gonna have to add more actually. So then it's gonna have to be the. Nah, not really. Not really. I probably won't have to. No, let's add one more. So we can work with four layers, and this can be just like um details, I guess. Details. So this is really for my benefit more than anyone else's, because details would be ahead. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Like I said, this is just me freestyling. This is impromptu. This all of this is just coming from the head and that. So it's it's a it's a process to say the least. Um, right. So I was saying about the what I hold in high regard in terms of the manga I was reading. I was always into that Naruto and that. I hated Naruto when I first saw it. Like I just thought, oh, what's this? Like you know what I'm saying? If it weren't Dragon Ball Z, I weren't really interested. That's how I used to be. I used to be very like, man, like, and I saw it. And believe it or not, this is gonna sound real silly, but one of the reasons I didn't like them is because they were wearing sandals. I'm just like, the fuck. Sorry, my language. I'm like, what the? Come on, man. These guys are wearing sandals and they're fighting like that. I weren't buying it. I weren't buying it until like I saw it was the Naruto Sasuke fight in it in the Valley of Death. Man said the Valley. I said the Valley of Death. The Valley in it. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. That valley, right, where Madara and Harashima. Sorry, it's been a while, man, since I watched that. So if I say that some of the names wrong, don't crucify me. If you do watch it, Harama, the first Hokage and Madara in it. Um, yeah, that valley where they fight. So in part one, when I saw Naruto and Sasuke fighting, and I see Sasuke's form. I saw Naruto's form, and I'm like, oh, he looks kind of cool. But then I saw Sasuke's cursed sealed form, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to tap in still. Like, obviously, I didn't say it like that, but you know what I mean? I was like, okay, like that's what caught my attention. It was Sasuke's second form that caught my attention. I was like, might have to give this a watch. And from there, I just literally fell in love with it, man. I fell in love with Naruto still. And it was always them kind of things that always got me back into drawing because I've been drawing on and off my whole life. But like, with school and life and being a teenager, you can imagine, like, there was a point where I just kind of stopped caring about what I was actually interested in, and more just focused on, like, just the world and stuff. You feel me? Just, you know, being a teenager, I was kind of concerned with, your peers and what they're doing, and you want to fit in and stuff. So, but I mean, me saying that, but I mean, a lot of people were into Naruto, so it's not like I didn't, and anime and just drawing and stuff. But it's just like just generally in it, and I spent a lot of time playing video games, so like maybe that's where a lot of my time went instead of actually like honing my craft. I was just there. But I mean, you know what though, man? I don't even knock that, because honestly, I feel like a lot of the video games I played, they definitely they've definitely cultivated my taste and my style and my regarding my art, and just regarding like what I'm into in that. You know what I'm saying? Because there was one game I could think about easily is Final Fantasy War of the Lions. And in War of the Lions, the storyline is so deep and so, like, it's so politically, you know what I mean? A lot of these games, they teach you real things, man. And they even show you real things that are probably happening in the world, but you won't believe it because this is real life. That can't happen this can't happen. It's just a game, but these games, a lot of the time, they be actually just like movies. They be trying to put you onto something. They're showing you something that you might just disregard as just a movie or just a game, but no, there's actually a very profound, there's a very real aspect to it. Whether they do that on purpose or not is not really my discussion here. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but fact is stranger than reality. You know, it's the saying, and that is something I definitely believe. Please tell me this one. Oh my god. Right, so once again, I've ended up drawing on two different layers. This is getting a bit really annoying, but it's fine. I just need to like pay more attention, maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's me in it, or it probably is me. Like, but I just mean like really. Sometimes it's like I just wish maybe maybe I give this program too much credit than it actually deserves, and maybe I need to pay more attention. And maybe this thing isn't as intuitive as I would like it to believe it is. So that being said, it's not like I said. It's nothing, especially in the early stages. Nothing isn't. I mean, nothing ever really is like unable to be rectified. But in the early stages, it really is. It's just more of an inconvenience than anything. But later on, some of the stuff can actually be detrimental to the piece. I'm not gonna spend another episode of this talking about that, because I spoke about it a lot in the first one. But the reason I spoke about it in the first one is because it's always happening, and well, hopefully again in it, this will be something I can learn from as I do these. Um, Hopefully, right? Hopefully. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. I feel like it's kind of cool. So I just start with the lining work, like I said. Always get the figure out, and then if I want to start adding clothes and whatnot, I will. Here, I don't know. I don't know if I want to add clothes to it or not. I like a lot. One thing I like with in my drawing as well, I like drawing people naked in it. to put it bluntly, um, but not for like not like not in an erotic way, but just for me, the human body, the human figure is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. Like, and that's one thing that I feel like about humans, why I feel we're so not different. I mean, but everything in the world is being made a certain type of way, and it really is. It really is a work of art. Everything really is a work of art if you actually try and not even try. You don't even have to try. Like, if you just pay attention, like, really, in my opinion, it's just so much beauty in the world, in ourselves. If you take the time to look at yourself in the mirror, really take it in, And you know, because I guess with, you know what they say, familiarity breeds contempt, you know. And I'm not saying you, like, people have, or some people do, like, they can't stand the sight of themselves, but it, you know, you see something so often that the beauty of it, you know, I guess, like, until you get to a point where you can't lose your legs properly, then you're gonna be like, "Wow, you mean I had legs? These things?" You know what I'm saying? And you know, let's say you're incapacitated for a brief period of time. Once you do gain access to your legs again, you have a whole new appreciation for it, because you know you were taken out of your mode of just taking everything for granted. You were forced to sit back and actually reflect on something, you know. And obviously, losing your legs, or yeah, for any amount of period, will definitely make you, you know, give one, like, a period of time to really think about things. You know, God forbid you, like you lose permanent access to it. You know, but again, even if you do, it's like there's always, I always believe in equivalent exchange. Like, for something is lost, something is gained. And yeah, I do believe in that. I do believe in, you know, there's nothing can just be taken away from you. If something was taken away from you, you got something out of it, and it's up to you to try and actually find out what that thing was. I know that may sound a bit conceited coming from someone who has his legs, but I mean, I can't imagine. But it has to be something like, whatever situation you did that, you know, you lost those things. And I know it's very difficult to say, you know, when you lose something, like you lose a loved one and these things, it can really seem like, what do you mean I got something out of this? But that is what I believe to be whole true. And maybe that's just coming from a point of privilege at this point in my life. Maybe I haven't lost anything enough for me to hold that ideology to scrutiny, you know. But from what the life I have lived, even if it's taken me a while to realize, and I'm not, you know, if it's taken a while for me to realize that, at some point it is something I can say, well, you know what, I actually did gain something out of that, even if it is simply just a lesson, you know, which is, I'm not saying it has to be a tangible thing. Sometimes the things we gain aren't aren't um aren't physical. They're not something you can weigh or measure with, you know, metrics that we're used to using in our everyday life, you know. Um, in the very least, there's a space now gone for you to fill with something else. So even if you haven't been given something, the emptiness of that thing that was there in itself is potential for you to put something else in its place. But let me move from that, because I know that's a touchy kind of subject, and you know, you can get a lot of disagreements regarding that. And again, you know, I'm not trying to tell people how to live their lives and whatnot. I'm just, from my observations of my life, you know, I'll definitely let you know when when something happens to me that I can definitely say, you know what, that was bullshit that I said back then, you know, because I'm always in a position to learn. Is that what I want to do? Nah, I don't want to give it up. Let's give her some braids. Give her some braids, man. So I've got a kind of idea of what I'm doing now a little bit. Um, Definitely move that there to the side. Maybe I don't need to make her any smaller. Yeah, I think she could stay like that. It's kind of cool. Getting distracted. Yeah, I was on my phone for like that little minute. Probably shouldn't do that. Let me focus. Let me focus. So yeah, you know, I don't know how I was speaking about Naruto and I ended up talking about if you lose your legs, you definitely got something out of that process. Don't know how I did that, but you know, that's just me. That's just me. Okay, what am I think? What am I saying here? Um, yeah. So I was saying about the nudity, right? That's how I ended up there. I started talking about the human figure. The human figure is beautiful, and you know, that's why I like drawing people naked a lot of the time, just so like, just so it can be emphasized in my work, because it's something I hold in very high regard as well. It's just the nature of no, no, no. It's a no for me, dog. Yeah, the human figure is beautiful. You know, especially if you like, if you study, if you really actually study like how the body works. I mean, after a while, you just have to be like, okay, like, you know, like how did this thing actually come about? Like, you know, I believe in evolution to an extent, but I mean, for me, the human body has clearly been designed, right? People say creation, and people are privy to raise up a. You're gonna get bite back if you use that word creation, but I say designed. The same way I'm designing this in Adobe Illustrator, I believe in some other program, some universal program that is not accessible to humans. The human figure was created because everything just works together so beautifully, and everything we make is almost a sort of almost a replication of that. You know, it's I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Okay, let's try that again. Wow, man, for real, you're not just gonna let me drag it. Yeah, the human body's been designed. That's what I think. In it, don't ask me who by. I'm not. That's not. That's another thing as well. You know, you say design, people think, oh, you're religious. You know what I mean? Not necessarily, bro. Just, just, you know what I mean. But I feel like certain things, just, you know, you have to give it up and say, all right, I don't know, man. And this thing, it's so designed. It's just it's been designed. Like you can tell, everything works so perfectly. It's been designed. How and who designed it, I don't know. You know, but for me, the design is clear and apparent because something works beautifully. Something works in accordance and in conjunction with so many other things. You know, it's okay. I'm doing more talking than drawing at this point. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. So at this point, I'm just gonna be kind of just because I don't know what I want to do. This so a lot of the time I just end up just seeing what looks cool and then rocking with that. So let's see if we give it some wings. Hmm, maybe not. I feel like that arm's a bit too stiff. It was a bit too straight, a bit too just generic looking. Like the whole rest of her body's kind of in motion, and then that is just like just straight. So we definitely could have changed that. Right, I like that. I like the way that's looking. Yeah, a lot of it's just like and it is the female anatomy for me. The female anatomy is just very beautiful to look at. I say that as purely from an artistic point of view, right? I just think it's more complicated. Well, internally, it must be a lot more complicated because I mean, women be housing children, so there definitely is like probably a couple extra mechanisms within the female anatomy that you know, that the male anatomy can't really doesn't have. You know, uh, last time I checked, men don't have wounds. You know, last time I checked, but really, have I ever checked? I've never like opened on anyone up. Audio, audio. So. Merchandise from the stores need to go up into your website office. They need to fix something for the store. Okay. Okay. What I wanted to hold is some sort of like a fan or something. I feel that'd be kind of cool. So if I ever stop pausing, if I ever pause and you're wondering what I'm doing, it's probably like I'm rubbing my eyes, picking my nose or something like that, right? You know, the normal human things that we do when we're by ourselves. And I promise that is all I'm doing when I'm by myself. Yeah, okay. That was a bit of an unnecessary thing to say, to be honest. But that's me, that's what you gotta get on this channel. You gotta get like I said, I like to consider myself an individual of deep reflection, but I'm also a clown. I'll be honest, man. And when I say clown, I mean that in the most respectful way possible to myself. You know, you can make a joke at my expense. I will make a joke at my expense. But what I've learned about life is that it's good not to do that too much because people will literally just think then that's what's all you're about. I think you've probably seen it all the time. Once you know someone for something, it's hard to take them as something else. You know, and yeah, that's Look at this. It's just a mess, man. Yeah, so I don't want to be doing too much clowning, but that is something that you gotta have a laugh, man. You know what I mean? Like life ain't that deep sometimes, man. It is for some people, but for me, man, I'm easy, bro. To be honest, for the most part, like I'm an easygoing person. You know. That's looking dope. Cool. So yeah, like I like the human anatomy and whatnot, but I try to cover up when I can, but I mean I do definitely. Like, I live in England, London, so you can't walk around the streets naked. You can't do that. You get in trouble. Someone's gonna come knocking on your. Well, you can get arrested. That's what public. I don't know what that comes under, but I'm proud of myself. Like if I wouldn't mind walking around naked, to be honest, like I'm very proud of my endowment in all aspects. I'm not a very big guy. I'm like 5'5", 5'4", maybe something like that. No, I'm like 5'5", 5'6". To the lie. Let me not beg it. Let me not beg it. I'm like 5'5", 5'6", something like that. So yeah, but like I said, man, you just gotta love yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a whole lifetime to do it. So you know what I mean. The sooner you do it, the better, man. Honestly, like you got to spend a long time, hopefully, with this, with this body of yours. So the sooner you can learn to love it, the sooner you can move on with that. Because I do feel like if you're unable to love yourself, you're gonna spend your whole life sort of like looking for love in other, looking for that so acceptance. You know, once you accept yourself, though, for real, like I mean, for really, really real, accept yourself for who you are. And that doesn't mean not being able to change yourself, but I mean, you know, there's wanting to change yourself to be the better version of you, and then there's wanting to change yourself because you don't like yourself. And when I say don't like yourself, I really mean in the sense of like not wanting to. Well, you know, self improvement comes in just like anything, just like self criticism. You know, you can be self critical of yourself, and there's a conducive way to do it, and then there's a sort of detrimental way to do it. And just in that same vein, like loving yourself, it can come from a pure place of, and then it can come from a pretentious place. You know, it can come from a place of conceitedness, if that's a word. You know, there's so many layers to it. That's what I'm saying. The human psyche is such a beautiful thing into itself, and again, that ties into you. You know, because that's just one aspect of you. And again, the sooner you can learn to love yourself, all facets and aspects of yourself, and that doesn't mean excusing your bullshit. That doesn't mean saying, "Oh, I'm a Scorpio, so you know this is just how I am." Like I don't know why I said Scorpios, but you know, because I hear a lot of people say stuff about Scorpios. That's probably why I said that. But I like Scorpios. I get along with Scorpios for the most part. Um, do I believe in astrology? I believe that a lot of things in the world and outside our world have effects on us that we can't necessarily account for. You know, um, but a lot of that ties into Carl Jung, Jungian psychology. You know, goes into all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely interesting, but I definitely believe it to some extent. Like I definitely do. But you know, at the same time, I do like not the July. You know, you read your horoscope at the back of the newspaper. I don't know the difference between astrology and astronomy. I believe astronomy is the study of the stars. Astrology would be the I don't know. Let me speak less on that. Let me speak less on that. But yeah, but I do believe stuff like stars and a lot of unseen things can have an impact on us, effect on us, and we might not necessarily be privy to it because one reason or another. See, like, I'm telling you, man. Well, apart from that, everything is on the same layer. So let me get rid of that. This has been quite a long one already, right? So I might. What I intend to do, hopefully, so I'll have two of these. These might end up going on like a what's the word? So the time lapse could probably go on YouTube, but then maybe the more the longer version, the full video with me talking and that could probably be like possibly be a Patreon at some point. Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about how to actually formulate this channel and how I want things to be set up because you know the sooner I do decide that, the sooner the easier it will be. You know, no, let's have our eyes closed. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about. But obviously, it's still early days, so I'm just trying to get content out, and then that's more so things I can think about once I get a look. Once there's more engagement on the channel, and that you know, once there's more people demanding certain things, then I can start worrying about that aspect. But for now, it's just about getting content out there and you know, making good quality work in it. That's what I feel above all else is always important. Like it's not to get too I mean, because it's important. These things are important, right? Especially if you can make money off of what you do and what you love. In this day and age as well, it's important. But I feel like it's easy to allow them things to sort of consume, and you forget about the why you do certain things. And I don't ever want to get to that point. Why is it not letting me do that? Whatever. Yeah, I don't want to get to that point. Already as an artist, there's been times where I've been, just for maybe friends and family saying, "Oh, you should do this and you should do that. Like, you can make money doing this," and it's important to like know why you're doing it. Because everyone else, they're just gonna see your work and they just think, "Oh, that's cool," and whatnot. But a lot of people, if it's not generating money, it's not worthwhile. You know what I mean? Or if it isn't generating money, then it needs to be generating money, and that's only when that thing can really become valuable. Me, I've never really been like that, ever. Like, I've always seen the value in things for how you get it. If something's valuable to me, it's not about how much money it generates or even how popular it is. It's always been for me. Do I like this? Do I enjoy this? You know, so that's how I've been. That's how I've always been kind of been. I've taken interest in things that you know people kind of scoff at me at. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I've always been kind of like that. People always when they see you're into something that isn't necessarily something that they're normally exposed to, or even something that you're they wouldn't expect of someone of who you are. People, whether we like it or not, stereotypes are a real thing. Stereotypes are a real thing. Like, and yeah, some people don't expect certain things of you just because of maybe whatever, the color of your skin, or you know what I mean. I'm 5'6", so when you see me dunking, you're like, whoa, I don't know, you know what I mean. Them kind of stereotypes. I can't dunk. That's a joke. But no, I'm being serious at the same time. Like, for whatever it is, you know what I'm saying. Like, because of your gender, because of your color, your skin, people expect certain things from you. People, and if you don't necessarily subscribe to that, or there's something that you take an interest in that, let's say, none of your friends take an interest in, none of your people in your social circle, you're gonna be looked at a bit funny. But that's something you need to be prepared for, and I believe normally it is something you're prepared for because you like it. So you're just like, well, whatever, I like this, and but it takes time, especially if you're younger. I feel like it comes with a bit of like some people might not necessarily. There's a lot of stuff I was interested in that I don't even know I was interested in until I was allowed to really be by myself and think, wait, no, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I actually like. And a lot of the time, you kind of know what you like, but you don't even think there's not even like that thing don't exist. But I remember like playing on a Misha again, another video game, back in the day on my PlayStation 2, and I just remember obviously honestly, Onimisha is a game based on Japanese folklore, I suppose, in it. So there's all these what we would call demons, but they got different names like yokai, and um yokai is one way to say it. Entities and spirits in it, and these things, and you're this samurai going around doing your thing, and one thing that will kind of like used to hit me. I used to be playing this thinking, man, I wish there was like a book I could just like go into and really study this thing. And I remember being like 13 or 14 thinking that. And now looking back thinking, of course, Gus, there will be a book regarding that. But at the time, it's like what you're exposed to. I didn't think that there was that kind of stuff. I remember being a bit older thinking, man, I wish there was a library where I could go to and I could just study like ancient ancient religion, ancient spirituality, and these things. And these things exist. You know what I'm saying? even down around the corner from me. And I'm like I said, I live in London, so they really these things are all around me. But again, it's just like because of what I was exposed to and just where my day to day life as a young adult in that regard, there was a lot of things I didn't know. There was a lot of things I didn't think like I actually had access to until until you know until you find out otherwise, and you know what? I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, so why is it? Oh, it's so annoying when it does that once again, dog. Once again, it wants to tell me I didn't. Whatever, man. I'm just copy and pasting that because I actually like that. Very annoying. Very annoying. And look, I've just copy and pasted it again, and it was to tell me I didn't. But it's fine. Like I said, still early stages regarding this, so it's rectifiable. It's rectifiable. Maybe I should pay more attention instead of talking. Alright. Um, it's pretty much okay like this, but I'm thinking because of what I've done to her hair now, it may not allow me to just expand and. Okay, no, it will. Dope. Okay, so this is the part I always like, giving it the first bit of color. There's probably a whole other process I should probably do, but like this is just the way I do it. And this is the way I enjoy doing it. Again, these are just me having fun, just making content for the channel. There's a lot, like most of my work is digital. Most of my work is with paint, more traditional forms of art. But I do enjoy Illustrator, and again, obviously, this is a much easier way to record content. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to pull out a camera, get a tripod, and record myself doing that. But like I said, there is content coming, more of that kind of stuff if that's what you're into. Um, so definitely keep an eye out for that, man, for sure, sure. So I'm probably thinking I probably could have. You know what? I know what we're doing with this now. It's like slowly as things come about, you're just like, yeah, that's what I need to do. That's what I love about art, just in general. When the way I do it is because it's like I do this all from my head, and a lot of the time, sometimes I have an idea, but a lot of the other time I don't, and I'm just kind of just going with the flow. And what ends up happening is over time, you like, all right, boom, 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 and before you know it, you got a whole piece there in front of you, and you're like, okay, see, the whole thing came together, and it's like seeing the whole thing unfold. The unfoldment of the piece is very is a beautiful thing to see, man. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a surprise to me as much as it is probably to the people that are what to you guys watching. It's well, I mean, a little, probably not as much, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. That it's a very it's a very peculiar process, like especially if you're more inclined to like you know a more I want to say more spiritual way of thinking, but if everything isn't black and white to you in the sense of all your ideas, like where do ideas come from? That kind of what line of thinking. If you just think, the ideas come from the brain and they're just brain waves, and that cool. But I don't prescribe to that, I believe it's a much more it's a process that man doesn't truly understand. Like, where do ideas come from? Do you know what I'm saying? And let me copy this. Wait, why did it do that? Oops. Right, I just made a new layer called details body. Cause I want to give her braids, but I want to have them flowing behind. But I want to have them flowing behind. So to really actually gauge that, to get that look I actually want, can I get rid of that? That looks a bit mad. Yeah, I can. Cool, dope. I'm gonna add that back a bit later. What I wanted to do is actually have it flowing. So if I was to actually try and draw it over her, obviously it's not gonna get that. It's not gonna get as much of a natural look because I've got to try and draw it around her. But if I could just draw everything behind her, like it is behind her, it gives it a much more authentic look that it's actually her hair dribbling behind her, flowing behind her. You know, that's what we're going for, definitely. So I guess at this point I could bring it up a bit. And you know what? Like, maybe I might even cut this up into two parts. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel like sitting here. I don't really feel like I have the patience to really sit here all day, really, and do this. And I don't want to rush it either. You know, I don't want to try and make something. Okay, that's done. Like, if it ends up taking longer, it ends up taking longer. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing as an artist. I've had to like learn. I have to learn that sometimes. Again, it's like it's not on my timing. It's almost like I'm working in conjunction with something with myself, you know, and it's and yeah, see, making all these layers and I'm actually naming them. So this is what doing these sort of projects will do. It will force me to be more. What's the word I want to use? I don't know the word I want to use, but you get me? Like, I normally won't do that. I would just, boom, just make the layers and not name them and that, and then I'm all there waffling through them. But doing stuff like this makes you more professional. Can I say that? It makes you do things a bit more, probably how you should do them, right? You know what I'm saying? You're more likely to do shit properly. Sorry, do things properly when you're being watched. Do you know what I'm saying? As opposed to just like, no one's watching me. I can just do what I want, how I want to do it. Cause I'm very much that kind of guy. I like to do things my way, like, and my way ain't necessarily the right way. You know, I'm definitely honest enough and aware enough with myself to know that sometimes I can be a bit of a lazy mother. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, yeah. But when you know I'm doing content now that's gonna be up in public, I'm probably more inclined not only to probably try and make better pieces of work. I don't. That's not even that. That's not even the part I'm really thinking about. Though I do feel like even that might be a byproduct of doing this, but more so just do the things properly, things that I know I should do properly, that I normally won't do because no one's there to check me and say you should do this like this. You know better than that. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know, I definitely know myself very well, and I know my habits, and I know I know what I'm like at times. You know, definitely for sure. So let's add that there. Hopefully that's in the right place. It is. And you know what? Again, it's just gonna force me to just, you know, do the right thing. I like that already. I already know what I'm doing with this. Excuse me. So this is definitely a the way I have this in my head. It's gonna be a real dope piece. But my thing, you see how I always start with like the woman, or the figure, the human, and then from there, it kind of just makes itself. That's how I normally work. I always start with like the human first, and then everything else kind of just comes from that. Once the human's done. Um, so yeah, me just sort of this rock I'm making is. I was thinking, should I have it like she's on the sea, in the middle of the sea, and that? We'll see. We'll see. No pun intended. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. Bad jokes. This is not a joke channel. This is a art channel. So obviously, jokes aren't my strong suit. But I like to think I'm a funny person. You know what? The thing when it comes to about being a funny person, my thing is as long as you can make yourself laugh. Like I find myself funny. I can humor myself. So therefore, I consider myself a funny person. That probably isn't the metric you should weight it by. People should actually probably find you funny, but I'm a bit of a conceited also at times, so I'm a bit self-indulgent like that. So as long as I find myself funny, isn't that all that matters? Again, in it, like I hope I'm not like you're probably thinking, oh, this guy's a bit whacked, still. But no, I genuinely believe that, man. I feel like sometimes, we're too self-absorbed about what other people think, man, and you know, using other people's like metrics to weight things. Like, man, if you think you're funny, then like, bruh, like, why do you need 10,000 other people's opinions before you become funny? Like, do you get it? Like, that's how I feel, man. Like, man, I make myself laugh, so hence I consider myself a funny person, and that is actually something that you know what's supposed to tell me I'm not funny. I didn't think raw, like, you know I don't know why, man. I think humor is a very very important thing in life. Not that someone finds you funny, but when people say, "Oh, you're funny," like it does put a small smile on my face. Because you gotta think about it, man. Like you could be a lot of things to people, right? But if people find you funny, that just what I mean. That means they find you in some sense quite heartwarming. Because laughter is what makes is the joy of the soul, isn't it? Like that's how I kind of see it. Like if you're able to make people laugh, if you can make people laugh, you can make them do anything. And I'm not saying that as a manipulator or anything, but I'm saying that as a real thing. Like if you can put a smile on someone's face and make them chuckle and laugh, then you know, and I'm not saying take advantage of that, but it just means you have a very. I feel like the funniest people are normally the most profoundest people. The people that can make me laugh, that requires it requires something. That requires something that a lot of people lose as they get older. As they become adults, a lot of people lose it, and I don't know what it is. There's different types of humor. You know what I mean? Even like down to the kind of morbid sort of more morbid humor, but most humor has got an element of truth. That's why things are funny. If someone says you're funny, it's most likely you're quite true. You're quite a truthful person. You know, and yeah, humor requires a lot of different components of what make us human. So that's why I hold humor in high regard. If a girl can make me laugh, dog, like she's kind of won over me already a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel personally myself. Like humor is a very big thing. If you can make me laugh, then I want to say you can maybe do anything, but but nah, man. I just think humor is important, and it's a very important thing that bro. I feel the world would be a better place if people were laughing more. Would you disagree or agree? Let me know in the comments below. Do we need more humor in the world, or do we joke around too much? That probably is the other side of it, especially with this age of social media and memes and whatnot. Yeah, I can definitely see why someone would say, you know what, maybe we joke around a bit too much, Gus. Like maybe we should, be a bit more serious, But there's always a balance, So again, like I said, I try not to be a joker too much, There's a time and place for everything, Just like there's a time and place for 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 a lot of things, There's a time and place, and you gotta make sure you pick the right time and the right place to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel. Again, that's what I think. I think very important. Um, I've been waffling a lot, haven't I? Well, maybe I can leave it like this and continue now. Let me break this. So I am gonna break this up into two, but I'm gonna get to a point where it at least kind of looks like, oh, that looks kind of cool. You know, I wonder what he's gonna do next with it, as opposed to just like, okay, that's clearly not done, and you know what I mean. He clearly got a bit bored or something. Like, let's make it look. Let's make it look like something that could be done, but it's not done. Okay. If you want to see more examples of my work, you can definitely hit up my Instagram, which is what I mainly use to put my work out there. But obviously now that I'm dealing with more like videos and that now, definitely gonna start trying to put a lot more stuff on YouTube, as well as my Instagram. Love it. Okay. Um, let's start giving a little, you know, the tails from her cane rose. Some people say cane rose, some people say corn rose. I say cane rose. It's definitely not box braids. It's definitely not box braids, but I think box braids sound cool. It sounds cool, but that's just not what they're called. You know what I mean? So yeah. Nope, that's a bit mad. I just love what our women do with their hair. Do you know what I'm saying? I love it, man. So no, that's a bit wrong. Get that out. Not even. Yeah, that's a bit more like it, but gotta swear. I mean, 'cause I've only done 5 things there, but one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, but maybe I can get away with a couple more just for theatrics' sake. Yeah, see, that's the thing about art, man. They ain't gonna make sense. No one's gonna look at the tails and think, "Oh, look, there's too many in comparison to the parts that's actually braided." No one's gonna do well. If you do that, then you got way too much time on your hands, my mate, my girl, my guy. You need to. I don't know what you need to do because we're in lockdown. So I get it. 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 All right, that's looking kind of cool. I guess a little bit. Um, I like the green. I like the color of the sky, but Maybe it's a bit too. No, we'll see. We'll leave it like that for now. Um, what can I then do next? I guess I can leave it because I don't know how long this video has been going on for. It's probably been going on for. Probably should have timed it. Imagine I didn't even do a timer or nothing. But I could check my messages on my phone and I could use that as a to kind of gauge when I started because I know roughly when I started. So that's probably a poor way to to record. I probably will just do a recording next time. But I mean, even the screen recorder, it's not actually telling me how long I've been recording for until I bring it up, and I'm not willing to do that for the sake of the video. So um, it's been like an hour. It's been like an hour. So let's leave it at this for now. This is what it's looking like. Part one. Definitely gonna get to part two. So I'm gonna save it and let it roll on. So thanks for tuning in. Part two coming soon. I'll probably do the next one. Probably start the rest of it tomorrow. Yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content of this video. Leave a comment if you've got any sort of suggestions, any sort of recommendations to me as an artist or as a content creator, and or if you heard the subjects I was talking about, what kind of whatever, right? Whatever pertaining to the video, anything you sort of heard me mention, anything you didn't hear me mention that you thought I should have, look into it, check it out, or like forward it to me. Whatever, you know the drill. I don't really want to get into it. All right, people, love, peace, and powers, and I'll see you in the next episode of BKA Adobe Sessions.